Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at these suggestions passed to developers for February of 2024. We're going to start off with the ground stuff this time. There isn't a ton of them, but all of them are pretty interesting, and I would love to see them in the game. There's always a bunch of really cool vehicles to have a look at and see what's going on, so nice to go through them. There is a vehicle we won't be covering, which is the C1 Ariete Hitfac Mark II, so if you want to see it, make sure to check the suggestions passed to developers. Let's get into it and see what's available. The first vehicle is the Sturmgeschütz IV, or the Stug IV, which is basically a modified Stug III superstructure, which is put on a Panzer IV hull instead of a Panzer III. There really isn't much else to it. It's a vehicle that was in the actual kind of release tree for Germany, but just never made it into the game. And it was decided to build the Stug IV, basically after heavy bombing raids, to keep Stug production running after the Stug III production was cut off for a period of time. There was a decent amount of them that was built, and yeah, the only real difference is the chassis that it is built on. The armor profile is slightly different because of that, but not hugely. It still has the 75mm Stug 40L48 and also some pretty decent speed with quite a nice engine too. The vehicle overall weighed 23 tons and also had coaxial MG34s and a roof-mounted MG34 too, giving it some machine gun power. For Russia, we have the BTR-80 Kliver, or Kliver. I'm going to say Kliver, but I might be wrong on that. In the late 1980s, the BTR-80 was introduced as an enhanced version of its predecessor, the BTR-70. This upgrade included modest improvements to its armor, a redesigned mantlet that allowed for greater elevation of the 14.5mm machine gun, and also an upgraded engine. However, with the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, the subsequent economic instability faced by the Russian Federation necessitated a slowdown in the production of newer vehicles. As a result, the Russian army continued to maintain a significant number of older vehicles in its inventory, while Russian design bureaus shifted their focus towards the export markets. One of these design bureaus was the KBP Instrument Design Bureau, located in Tula, which had made substantial contributions to Russian weapon designs. Notable among their achievements were the development of the 23mm Zu-23-2 anti-aircraft autocannon, the 30mm 2A42, and also 2A72 autocannons used on the BMP-2 and 3 vehicles, this 73mm 2A28 Grom used on the BMP-1, and also the 9M113 Konkurs anti-tank guided missile, and the 2K22 Tunguska anti-aircraft system, among others. In the mid-1990s, KBP embarked on the development of a lightweight turret that could be equipped to infantry fighting vehicles, armored personnel carriers, and even small ships if required. During this period, KBP was also finalizing the design of a modern anti-tank guided missile, which would later be known as the 9M133 Kornet. The intention was to incorporate this advanced missile system into the new turret design, providing potential export customers with access to the latest Russian anti-tank technology while also upgrading their existing vehicles. The resulting turret was designated as TKB-799 and earned the nickname Kliver, or Cleaver. Prior to its first public showcase in Tula in 1996, the Kliver turret underwent testing on a BTR-80 chassis, demonstrating its compatibility and also adaptability. The new turret represented a remarkable leap in technology. The Kliver, equipped with its own turret basket, was designed as a versatile weapon station to be installed in various vehicles. It boasted a versatile set of weapons and had 3 distinct armaments. First and foremost, a 30mm 2A72 autocannon was integrated, alongside a 7.62mm PKT machine gun. Notably, the turret also featured a quadruple configuration of the 9M133 Kornet E missiles, prominently positioned beside the autocannon. The 2A72 autocannon possessed an impressive range of capabilities, including the ability to fire 3 Au F2 high explosive, armor-piercing discarding saber rounds, and at a steady rate of fire of 350 to 400 rounds per minute. Furthermore, the Kornet missile introduced an extremely modern design, utilizing a 152mm tandem charge warhead capable of penetrating 1200mm of armor, as far away as 5,500 meters. In addition to its impressive armament, the turret incorporated a range of advanced systems. Notably, the fire control system stood out, offering a dual-axis stabilization mechanism for the gunner. It further featured a state-of-the-art day-night sight, utilizing a thermal imaging channel to enhance visibility in all lighting conditions. Moreover, a laser rangefinder was incorporated, enhancing the turret's precision and target acquisition capabilities. These combined systems provided a formidable advantage in combat scenarios. The turret showcased an advanced electromechanical firing system that operated automatically. This system encompassed sighting, ranging, and precise weapon laying capabilities, incorporating lead, elevation, and traverse adjustments. These enhancements significantly improved accuracy, especially when ranging moving targets. Moreover, the turret was thoughtfully designed to offer ample elevation angles, ranging from -10 to +60. This feature enabled the turret to possess modern anti-aircraft capabilities, particularly in countering helicopters. Despite the BTR-80 being the first vehicle to incorporate the Kliver turret, it was the BMP-1 that received the most attention as the primary platform. The Kliver turret on the BMP-1 made its debut at an international defense exhibition in Abu Dhabi in '97, where two vehicles were showcased with the turret for promotional purposes. The KBP launched an extensive marketing campaign to sell the turret for both domestic and international BMP-1 fleets, with multiple demonstrations held in Russia and abroad. The turret designers even claimed superiority over the turrets found on the BMP-1, 2, M2, and M3 Bradley, and the Marder IFV. While their claim was not entirely unfounded, a significant issue arose with the combination of the BMP-1 and Kliver turret, the aging and inadequacies of the BMP-1 itself. By the late 1990s, the BMP-1 had become outdated and garnered a reputation for its cramped interior, insufficient armor, and obsolete features like firing ports. Although KPB or KBP offered a modern turret solution, they did not provide an upgrade option for the BMP-1 itself, as their primary focus was on weapon design rather than vehicles. This limitation may not have posed a problem for existing BMP-1 users, but it remains unknown as no country, including Russia, ended up purchasing the TKB-799 Kliver turret. Eventually, the BMP-1 received a new turret in the form of the BMP-1AM, while the BTR-80 underwent successful upgrades to the BTR-80A and later the BTR-82A, each offering substantial modernizations. Presently, the legacy of the Kliver lives on in other designs such as the B05YA01 Berezok turret, also manufactured by KBP. For Japan, we have a missile, the Middle Range Multi-Purpose Missile. The MMPM was developed as the successor to the JGSGF's Type 87 anti-tank guided missile and also the Type 79 anti-boat anti-tank guided missile. The MMPM is called Chuta by soldiers, and the body of the actual truck that can carry it is a HMV, which is used by the JGSDF. It's equipped with 6 missile launchers at the rear of the vehicle and uses a millimeter wave radar and thermal imagers to locate targets. The missile itself is equipped with an IIR seeker, has fire and forget capability, and can also be guided by having it irradiated with a laser. Once the coordinates of the target are acquired from an ally and fired, the missile's seeker locates and destroys the target. The top of the driver's seat can be removed also for loading into a cabin of a CH-47 for air transportation, which is quite nice. The missile itself, the ATM-6, has a tandem warhead and also has a range of 10 kilometers plus. We also have the Yi-Tian air defense system. This is for China. By the 1980s, many nations were beginning or already had adopted wheeled APCs. During this period, China's only wheeled APC was the WZ-523, usually relegated to reconnaissance roles. But in 1984, a vehicle initially designated Type 90 appeared at the National Day of the People's Republic of China parade. The vehicle was unfortunately not as good as one might have thought though. It had issues at higher altitudes, and, perhaps most severely, the engine was underpowered. 2 years later, the Type 92 was unveiled to the public. It fixed many of the issues with the Type 90 APC, and was adopted in Chinese service in large numbers in a wide variety of variants. For those familiar with French vehicles, you may wonder if the Chinese simply made a French VAB with 6 wheels. But this isn't the case, and many defense analysts were quick to point out the vehicle's similarities with the VAB. But since entering service, a number of investigations have been done and revealed that though there is some influence from the VAB, the WZ551 has different dimensions, weight, and also overall statistics. The WZ551 has been used for a number of variants. These includes things like IFVs, ambulances, ATGM carriers, fire support vehicles, self-propelled gun mortar vehicles, and also many more. However, one of the more curious and also unique looking ones is the Yi-Tian air defense system. This vehicle was first unveiled to the Chinese public in 2005 under the name YT-ADS, meaning Yi-Tian in Chinese air defense system. This vehicle mounts TY-90 missiles on the chassis of the WZ551 and was designed to address some of the shortcomings of the previous Li Shu ADS, which uses the TY-90 missiles, but on the back of the Dongfeng EQ-2050. Not only does the Yi-Tian have radar and missiles all in one package, it has smoke grenade launchers, greater radar range, much better armor protection, and amphibious capabilities. They even have a machine gun. The Yi-Tian's primary function is to fire off TY-90 missiles. These missiles are fire and forget, and the radar is capable of tracking an aircraft up to 18 kilometers. Also included in the electronics of this vehicle is a thermal imager, automatic targeting tracking device, and laser rangefinder, which helps in tracking air targets. Reloading the missiles has to be done manually, and none are carried in the vehicle. The radar antenna is placed on the roof and can be folded as well. There are 3 crew members on board of the Yi-Tian ADS, the driver, commander, and the air defense systems operator. The driver sits at the front of the vehicle, while the commander sits next to him. The gunner is seated in a turret in the rear area of the vehicle in order to operate the missile guidance systems. In the event an enemy on the ground gets too close, the vehicle has a 12.7mm W85 machine gun above the driver's hatch, as well as 2 4-barreled smoke launchers. Mobility is provided by an air-cooled diesel engine, the Deutz BF8L413F, which produces 320 horsepower. This propels the vehicle up to 100 km an hour on the road, with a range of up to 800 km. The vehicle also is amphibious, but will be extremely limited with the weight of the missile system. The AMX-30 Au F2 is here for France, and this was an upgrade program designed for the Au F1. There was one prototype that was built. It had a L52 gun, an improved autoloader, and also an MRSI capability. Basically, there was only one built. It's being stored at the 240th Artillery Regiment. I suppose if you want to see it, if you can. But overall, it's, just a standard AU F, just with a bigger gun mainly. For Sweden, we have the Stug KRV, and this poster is great because it's if it was written for like an old-style radio broadcast, which is quite fun. The year is 1951. World War II has just ended, and things are once again heating up in the world. With Sweden being in the middle, it is understandable that they would want to have a strong military. The current armoured vehicles, however, were not living up to that standard anymore. With outdated armour and lacklustre armament, the need for a replacement became more prominent. The Royal Army Administration conducted careful research into different tanks, including, but not limited to, the German Panzerkampfwagen 6, the Königstiger, the Panther, the Sherman, and also the British Churchill, and equally the British Centurion. In the end, the administration decided that the best alternative would be the British Centurion. This was because of the promise that the tank would receive upgrades in the future, and thus making it a good long-term choice. The British Army, however, reported that they would not be able to deliver any Centurions until their own needs for vehicles were met. This was going to take between 5 and 15 years. Not willing to wait that long, though, the Swedish Army commissioned the KAF to create a Swedish domestic version. This domestic design was supposed to be able to be used as infantry gun carriage as well as a tank destroyer. More specifically, it was supposed to be able to destroy the infamous Soviet IS-3. The project was conducted by the now defunct Landsverk AB. The first part of the vehicle that was researched was the armament, and there were 3 suggested armaments: a 12cm cannon L40, a 105mm cannon L67, and a 15cm smoothbore cannon L40. The table with numbers of penetration statistics at different distances are there, because of course they tested pretty much all of them, but the interesting one is the table actually shows on the 12cm heat can penetrate 140mm at an angle of 30 degrees at any range, and the 15cm heat FSDS can penetrate 160mm of armor at 30 degrees at any range. Yes, you looked at that right. No, it's not a typo. The STR-V KRV was supposed to fire heat FSDS ammo, as in high explosive, anti-tank, fin-stabilized, discarding sabot. This unorthodox ammunition type was used so that the pressure in the cannon could be reduced, while also keeping the high muzzle velocity. It also allowed the fins of the projectile to be static, which lowered the complexity and made the round more reliable. After careful research of the different cannons and ammunition, the 15-11cm heat FSDS was chosen as the preferred alternative, with the 10.5 7cm APDS as a backup. The 12cm alternative was knocked out due to the fact that it had entirely different construction in comparison to the 2 others, thus making conversion between them impossible. Combined with the fact that the performance of the 1511 round was significantly better all round, made the 15cm cannon the most obvious choice. The loading mechanism for the different cannons had already been designed. Its functioned similarly to the loader in the French AMX-30 light tank, with 2 cylindrical magazines housing both armor-piercing rounds and also high explosive. The maximum fire rate with the loader was a blistering 30 rounds per minute, and the maximum ammo capacity of the vehicle with the 15cm cannon was 12 rounds in the magazine and 24 in total. Next is the vehicle itself. It was decided from the beginning that this tank was to be a heavy tank. The armor was supposed to stop the infamous Russian 122mm cannon found on the IS-3. The whole design of the KRV was heavily inspired by the IS-3's hull, with a 3-sided front plate. There were 3 designs which were created. The Emil-1, which used the 12cm cannon, never built, unfortunately. The Emil-2, with the 15cm cannon and 665 horsepower engine, also never built. Then you have the Emil-3, which was identical to the Emil-2, except for using a much stronger 810 horsepower engine, where they did actually build the chassis. But that's it. Different armor layouts were considered for all 3 designs. The Emil-1, with 40-20 side armor, was the original design that weighed 28 tons. The armor layout was decided to be too low, and so a new weight limit was created. It was then decided that the Emil-1's power pack could handle a tank that weighed 30 to 34 tons, while the Emil-3 could weigh 38 to 42 tons, while retaining sufficient horsepower per ton. The horsepower per ton ratio of the Emil-3 design was to be 20, allowing good maneuverability while also allowing additional weight to be added without going below the 15 horsepower per ton designated limit that was created based on foreign designs and performance. There was plenty of documents about this vehicle, of course, and all of the things it was supposed to have, but basically, at least one chassis of the STR-V KRV was built. I cannot really find any information about the variant built itself because this one was never actually finished. And if you haven't worked out, we are talking about, of course, the Krankwagen, the Swedish dream, which everybody is interested in, even though the thing was so ridiculous, it never really existed. For the Israelis, we have the SPYDER AIO. The SPYDER, or Surface-to-Air Python and Derby, is an air defense system which began development in the early 2000s by Israeli company Rafael Advanced Defense Systems. That's focus was to come out with a new next-generation, quick-to-react, all-weather air defense system capable of engaging aircraft, helicopters, UAVs, drones, cruise missiles, and other types of guided weaponry. In 2005, the system received recognition for its ability to score direct several hits during weapons testing in Shidema, Israel. The system has several other variants, such as the SPYDER SR and also the SPYDER MR. The SPYDER SR is a short-range model, utilizes the ELM-2106 ATAR radar command and control vehicle, while the SPYDER MR operates with the ELM-2084 MMR radar system. There is also the SPYDER ER and SPYDER LR as well. All variants can be mounted on several different chassis, such as the Tatra, the MAN, the Scania P heavy trucks, and also many others. It also can be erected as its own stationary system. There are two missiles that the SPYDER system employs, the Python 5 and the Derby. The Python 5 is a further development of the Python family of air-to-air missiles that were developed in Israel and features some of the most advanced features of all AAMs. It is a beyond visual range IR/EO homing missile that is capable of lock-on after launch, or LOAL. The Python 5 is also an all-aspect/all-direction missile that is employed with the Israeli Air Force. That, in this case, has been tailored to be fired from the ground-based SPYDER system. The Derby is an active radar homing AAM that also features BVR capabilities, that has been tailored to be fired from the SPYDER as well. Both missiles are equipped with advanced ECCM technology to protect against electronic warfare countermeasures. The missiles have a minimum launch range of 1 kilometer, allowing close and quick intercept options. In 2022, during the Singapore Air Show, Rafael displayed a new variant of the SPYDER system, dubbed the SPYDER AIO, or All-in-One. This new variant of the SPYDER, unlike the previous models of the system, combines the radar vehicle, command and control vehicle, and the launch vehicle into one vehicle. The vehicle shown utilizes a Tatra 815-7 8x8 heavy truck as the base for which the launcher and radar system is installed. The radar is a 4D AESA pulse Doppler capable radar enhanced and extended multi-mission hemispheric radar that is all mounted on a central mast that provides 360-degree radar coverage and has a wide variety of tracking ranges depending on the contact of interest. The radar is capable of providing fire control systems for Derby missiles, providing the option to use both the Python IR and Derby radar homing missiles. On top of the radar mast is a top-light EO/IR sensor that is equipped with a third-generation thermal imager that provides situational awareness for the vehicle crew. The vehicle is also equipped with a launching pod capable of holding 8 missiles, which is installed on the rear of the vehicle. The vehicle's launcher is only capable of upward and downward motion and must be deployed fully prior to firing. The launcher is the same as the one found on the SPYDER MR/LR and can fire Derby ER missiles. The SPYDER AIO has not received any customers at this time. However, it's a very new vehicle, so the chances of it doing so are high, especially in the current world. It also has a 400 horsepower engine to be able to move it around, and also a few other features to keep it going. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank Schnitzel Stroker, Brendan Quinn, Vilneus, Character Fuel, Carrion Crow, Nicholas Richardson, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, B. Young, Opium Prime, Masonocrat, Lafouche, Alan Hacker, Sem Arslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.